Mark, why don't you hit us with a recap of this issue?
Absolutely, Dan. We opened sometime between a year and 18 months ago. Who really knows anymore? Beefcakey Peter is burying his costume to cover his tracks and probably looking for a party animal muscle midriff tank to put on, but alas, he needs to get back to New York City and find out what's going on with MJ back in that alternate dimension. Peter's in bad shape, and not just because he was stuck in Pennsylvania, though let's be honest, I'm sure being there didn't help. Phillies fans, am I right? Peter steals some clothes, but he has to take public transit back to the city before he suddenly becomes that Robin Williams "What year is it?" gif with some stranger at the Port Authority. And honestly, given what New York City has become under de Blasio and Adams, is anyone truly surprised by a disheveled guy in the Port Authority asking what day it is? Peter catches up with Aunt May, and she lets him know that only a day has passed since she last saw him and MJ, when Peter thinks it's been at least a week. That's when Norman Osborn shows up, and he just wants to make sure Peter is okay, before Peter nearly puts him through a wall. Norman doesn't punch back, but does notice the spider transponder in Peter's front pocket. I guess we're just going to have to put in Pitt in that for later. So on to the Baxter building to find Reed Richards, but instead Pete gets captured by some tentacles, and Johnny Storm and the Thing are telling him to calm down. Peter starts rambling about an evil mathematician, and honestly, what I love about comics is that this is probably like the 8th weirdest thing these guys have heard all day. All the same, Ben and Johnny are sympathetic, but can't let Peter into Reed's lab until Captain America shows up, because they need to figure out why there was an extra-dimensional explosion in York, Pennsylvania. And if Peter doesn't like that, he can go pound sand, or kick rocks, or get beat up. Reader, you pick. So Peter takes off and notices some helicopters in the sky, just like he's Henry Hill at the end of Goodfellas, and jump into the fires pulsating in the background. Peter is desperate to find an ally who's alive when Cap himself shows up, and again, he's here to help, but only if Peter is willing to wait around like he's trying to renew his driver's license at the DMV. And honestly, who has time for that? Especially someone whose girlfriend is stuck in an alternate dimension with an evil mathematician hell-bent on sacrificing her. So Peter, of course. So Peter does what any rational person would do and grabs Cap's shield and smashes it against his face. Cap is all like, I understand why you tried to break my face in 1,000 places, but I still need to see 3 forms of ID, despite the fact that this could all be handled more efficiently online. That brings us to Peter scaling outside a building and busting through where he warns the occupant to stop talking and listen. The occupant, naturally, Norman Osborn.